Hello, everybody. I know, we've been gone, but back by unpopular demand, it is once again an episode of Projekt Severovo. I am joined here
Ooh.
by my fabulous and famous co-workers, and co-streamers, and co-friends, and just co.
And also
Um,
me.
yeah, that's right, Gary. You're never a part of it. Ever. But yeah, I'm joined by Cyrus Smith and Nightheart, and also Gary.
Well, you said they were fabulous, so I also had to make sure that I was mentioned too.
No, we're the grungy dirt boys, and they're the wonderful Hollywood kids. Uh,
That makes sense. Yeah.
uh but where we last left off, um, we were in front. I know it's been 2 weeks, so let me give a quick recap. We were in front of the workhouse of the common house, right? Um, we had just had a Groundhog's Day-esque retour of the town by Sunsika Furlan. And the party was about to split up and go to some different people. Who was going where and why and how?
I believe
Important
myself
annotation.
and hold on, Gary. I need to remember your character's name.
Imagine remembering my name. Imagine being in the game. Holy shit! I didn't realize.
Yeah, I was about to say you're not in the
Kryakov.
game.
Yeah, Krikov Vitamir
Kryakov.
Akadad.
Yeah, me, Olzek and Krikov were going to go to the pastor, I believe.
All right. That leads Avanad and Anatoly. Where
To
are
go
you guys
talk to Grandma, Grelka, whatever. Well, not Grelka, but Grandma.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys were told about let's see here. Yulia Miroslav. So yeah, let's see. So, does anybody want to volunteer to go first? I mean, you're currently outside the thing. Do you have any? I know it's been 2 weeks. So do we have any rebriefings of like what is the goal of seeing these people, or?
Yeah, why were we?
Well,
Alright,
hold
what
on.
was?
If
let's
there's
see.
one thing that needs to be rebriefed, I think it's very important that we all remember that in this timeline, Sensika said that she goes when her father. No.
That what?
No, she did. She said that she
No.
goes to the church when her
Church.
father does.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when
yeah.
last time we asked her, "Do you go to church?" She said, "Fuck no."
Yeah,
Mhm.
she said,
And
yeah,
then she went to church.
yeah.
And then
So this time we
Todd
expect
Howard was
not
like, "Wait, back up."
Oh, one
Yeah,
other
yeah.
thing.
She had a loading screen a moment. Oh shit.
One other thing. Zabo is dead, and you noticed his left hand was degloved in a similar fashion to
The
the
monster
degloved
flesh.
hand. Yeah, yeah. And you noticed on the bottom of the prison cell, on the bottom of their seat, typed in the same typeface as the typewriter, but much larger, engraved in stone. Game on.
Which is why I originally said that maybe we should go check out the courthouse before it gets swallowed by the fog.
But part of it was already swallowed by the fog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was our purpose for meeting with the old lady again?
Because you're a much better talker than me. You can probably wheel and deal with the creepy ladies better than me.
You were told that the old lady knows a lot of lore about the town and is kind of like the town's mom, in a way.
Oh God, it's Space Mom. I mean Swamp Mom. I mean, all right. Todd,
Ooh, what's
I
this?
accept your challenge.
And what were
Yeah.
we going to talk to the pastor about? Was it just comparing notes to see if he says anything different?
Yeah, more or less, he's a creepy fucker that knows more than he should.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's what I got
was
out
I,
of it.
Was I sent to go Popeye the fuck out of him if he doesn't talk?
Oh,
I
also, we
mean-
need to ask about the sheriff being hanged because
Yeah.
now
Who's the
supposedly, now supposedly they haven't had a sheriff in forever. So
Mm.
If he's up there and he's been hung and we're out here and he's not in there, then who's the sheriff?
Oh yeah, and the gallows collapsed.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes,
also
that was the
and
news storm.
a lot of things happened last episode because also Kryukov disappeared for a while and came back with a bunch of dynamite on his back and no recollection of where he was.
Kinda
Exactly.
sus, bro.
Brother, I was playing
Doing
poker.
tasks.
I'm sorry.
You were doing tasks, huh? That's a likely
Yeah.
story.
I was doing tasks, bro.
I
What
hope
about it?
That would be kind of fun, like a what do you call it? Blackjack
Us.
mini game in Among Us.
Yeah. I thought you were going
Like
to say
one
an
where you
Among
have
Us
to-
RP.
No. Oh, fuck that.
No, Among Us is already an RP.
Yeah. But yeah. So who wants to go first?
I'm enjoying a
First,
delicious ice
so-
cream cone.
Oh. Well,
Oh,
fuck.
okay.
Guess we're up, buddy.
I guess I totally wasn't just slurping a noodle.
Yeah. Everyone's eating. It's mukbang gang, motherfuckers. And
Dude,
before
I
someone
mean-
corrects me, I know it is mukbang, but mukbang gang
Is
is
it?
such a good fucking term.
Is it? Hold up. Have I been
Is
It is
pronouncing it wrong?
mukbang. Yeah, it's mukbang.
I guess that makes
Dude.
sense if that's like the actual Korean pronunciation.
Yeah.
Wait, it's Korean?
Yes.
Wow.
Dude.
You're way back on the
Here
times,
at Paradise
brother.
Theater, we are cultured.
Dude. Hold up. All right, listen. All right. I just know that it's a thing and it happens.
True.
And I'm totally prepared to eat with my mic unmuted.
No,
All right.
no,
That's all I-
no.
no, Mike hates
He-
it when I do that.
Yeah, no.
Dude,
I was about to say, Gary. I was about to say. I was trying to think. Who knows? Who do I constantly tell off for being Mr. Munchie? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's Gary. Gary already fucking knows.
Yeah, Gary already knows not to slurp his noodles on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, slurp noodles.
God. Today somebody sarcastically posted on Facebook, "Where's my thank you for my service?" Just like cuz it was Veterans Day and he's like a cadet or whatever. And I just posted, "Thank you for your cervix, uwu."
Oh man.
That's
With
With
first.
Hell
a
yeah.
C or an S cervix.
Oh, C, of course.
Shit.
But yeah, anyway. So we at
That
Paradise
makes me
Theater
happy.
respect the troops as an entity. Or well, no, the troops individually. The troops as an entity can be debated from some points or another. I respect them, but yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Not here, not now.
yeah. Not the conversation. The conversation is you all are going to church.
The
Uh,
conversation is
woo!
we're the troops right now.
Yeah, facts.
Facts. We are bringing the glory of communism. The
Yeah.
one thing in human history that cannot be debated as being good or bad.
Oh yeah,
We-
for sure.
We here's the surviving members of Girl Scout Troop 17. I mean, Odon 17.
Girl Scout Troop 17. I fucking love that.
Comrades, we must sell cookies. For the
Yeah,
glory
yeah.
of the Rodina.
Oh yeah. Comrades, would you like some Samoas? I don't even know what a Samoa is. But yeah,
Sounds
I want
capitalist
thin
filth.
mint. I want thin mint.
here we go. So now we've got Team Blue and Team Red. Team Blue's gonna go over here. No, wait, hold on. Team Blue's staying over here.
not our
Team Red goes over here. Okay, so Team Red. You guys approach the church.
Wait, aren't we all reds?
You guys approach the church. And you kind of hold on. There we go.
Fuck you guys, that
Now
was
I'm
clever.
pale as shit. There we go. You guys approach the church. And as you approach the church, you see that there are a couple people outside the church. One of them is in kind of like a tweed suit, smoking a cigarette. And another one is Father Praskevich.
Is the guy in the tweed the doctor?
He is not actually.
Because I think we saw the doctor wearing that when we saw him. Or
Yes,
something that looked a bit more metropolitan.
yeah. No, he was wearing like pretty popular Moscow fashion. This guy by tweed, I guess I mean plaid, much more like it's still like tweed material, but it's kind of like a tartan pattern.
Mm.
It's mostly browns, light brown, dark brown, and like a pale eggshell white.
Oh
You know?
no, is he wearing basically the Sherlock Holmes coat?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
If he's an investigator, I'm gonna be mad.
Hmm. But yeah. So there's one other person out front though, and it's a person you've seen a few times. It's the fellow who wears who you've only seen him wearing a balaclava, and he carries the rifle on his back. Um, he's the one who was like comforting the woman when her husband died. He's the guy who delivered the package to you while you were at the courthouse. Um, you still don't even know his name. You've never asked. But he's out front as well, and he's standing next to the guy with the tweed suit who's smoking a cigarette, and he actually looks like he's bummed a cigarette as well.
I don't know who to talk to first.
They're
There's-
all in a triangle talking.
Yeah, but we kind of want to get the pastor kind of on his own because we're trying to kind of, finger him from information.
Yeah.
Don't finger the pastor.
Oh yeah,
True.
and Alexander is like creeping around somewhere. You know, that big spooky guy who takes alms at the church. He's around. It like maybe you see him tending to like some debris or shoveling the walkway or something. But he doesn't seem to be
I'm
an
big and
active
spooky.
participant. I just figured I'd let you know he's there.
Yeah.
And remind me, when Sensika came to us, she was kind of acting like this was the first time this day had played out.
Yeah, no, she was like, "Hey, I like made you some breakfast. Like, welcome to the town," which is pretty much she said the exact same thing. There were two things she said that were exactly the same. One was her like introduction of like, "Hey, I made you breakfast. I'm sure you could use like a home cooked meal." And then she also called you all soldier boys, which she only did like once.
Right, I'm just making sure that we don't walk up to this big guy and be like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "The fuck do you mean?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Olzeg will kind of approach, hands in his pockets because it's Russian winter, it's cold, and kind of be like, "Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained tonight."
Sure, you're good.
Kind of look to, the father because he's obviously dressed in priestly vestments.
With a big coat over it, but yeah.
Mhm. Are you the proprietor of this house of faith?
He like turns at you and he says, "Oh, yes, that would be me. You would happen to be," and he like gives you almost like this knowing look and says, "You would happen to be Lieutenant Malganovich. I've heard of your entrance."
Ah, this is true. I was promoted to second lieutenant, right?
No, you're officially a lieutenant
Okay,
now.
first lieutenant.
Mhm.
I am First Lieutenant Olzeg Malganovich of the State Protection Bureau. It is good to
The
meet
guy,
you.
yeah, the guy in the Arthur Conan Doyle getup, like turns towards you and kind of like throws up a salute real quick before like pretty much standing at parade rest.
Yeah, and I nod to him and make a motion to be at ease.
Yeah, he goes to Addie's. And he says, "So, what brings you and your," and he kind of like looks up at Kryukov and then looks back down to at you and goes, uh very well-fed friend here.
I would think that one of the faithful would recognize the Goliath when they see one. Kind of give a jovial laugh at that.
And he says, "Do not worry. People of enormous stature are the people who built this town." And like makes a motion towards the giant fucking statue.
Yeah, the ogre.
Mm-hmm.
The ogre wondering what we're doing in his land.
Yep.
What?
Do you mean what he's doing
in his
in
swamp?
his swamp?
in his marshy area?
His dog, maybe?
What are you doing?
What are you
In
doing
the
in
swamp?
What are you
Jesus.
doing in my taiga?
Now,
What are you doing in my fins?
What are you doing?
is he
in my
insinuating?
tundra?
Is he calling me an ogre?
I mean, maybe.
That
He might just be
not be an
referring to your
insult.
size. Yeah,
I
no,
was
it's
gonna
definitely
say-
not an insult if he is.
They
I mean,
worship ogres.
That's true.
Two of them.
Yeah. Two of them? I thought it was just one.
He may
No,
also
they
be calling
worship
you
two ogres.
Shrek, but
Huh.
But
Donkey!
we were simply checking this area and believed that a place so central to the people's lives would be good to familiarize ourselves with, no?
He like nods and says, of course. You know, I don't know if I'm sure that you are aware of this, but, one of your comrades came by here a couple days earlier. He seemed very spooked by something. I just had a conversation with him.
Did you happen to catch his name?
He gave me a fake one. I don't even remember what it was, but it was Mr. Bashenko.
Yes.
I believe he had his friend. He had his friend. I caught the name immediately. Avanad with him.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
So he
Okay, so time really is fucked.
yeah. So it's the same for him, but different for. Well, no, it's the same for him, different for everyone else.
Weird.
Him, as far as we know.
Yeah. To kind of just play that off, not really give much of a response to it. I don't know if this is one of those time situations where, you interact with the break in time, everything falls apart.
Sure.
I mean, would we not be part of the break already?
True.
I mean, time is experiencing itself all at once.
That's true.
Okay,
That
Bill
is,
Nye.
in fact, accurate.
That's more Carl Sagan's bit than Bill Nye's, but I'll
Yeah.
forgive it for now.
if you're in a place with high gravity, time flows differently. Okay, thanks, Neil.
Meow.
But yeah,
But yeah,
go ahead.
sorry. Definitely kind of just play that off. Look around and say, this is a fine church. This does not look like many Orthodox churches I have seen before.
he says, well, it doesn't operate like one either. Well, you understand how the Catholics canonize saints in the far west, right?
I am vaguely familiar from my teachings, from my studies of history.
It is roughly the same sort of situation.
So you believe that this man of unusual size to be something of a saint?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but essentially that is what I would call it.
Nod.
Yeah.
Before we continue, and I look to the man, Sir Arthur Conan, and be like, I do not believe we have met, but you are clearly of military background.
I reaches out his hand. He was politely waiting to say anything, you know. He shakes your hand and says, Mio Pavlovsky, Mijo Pavlovsky used to be military of sorts.
Well, it was good to meet a of sorts former comrade.
He says, of course. And do you have things, what sort of things decorate your uniform?
I
Like, is there anything other than just, like, lieutenant?
Yeah, I have a badge on my lapel that denotes me as a member of the KGB.
Oh yeah, then he flips out a small identification, and it's an expired, but it is a KGB like a KGB identification from maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
You cut out there for a second for me, and so you just said he flips out.
Yeah. He fucking goes crazy. He goes bonkers.
He goes wild. He goes stupid.
He goes yeah.
Just lose it?
But no, exactly. But yeah, he just flips out that thing casually and says, "Used to, but it is good to meet a fellow member of the, shall we say, clandestine sort."
Indeed. Though I suppose openly speaking of it makes it less clandestine, no?
He looks around for a second, and you just notice, other than the people around you, it is utterly barren around the town, and goes, "What's a secret between 4 people, hey? Or between 5 people, hey?"
Something between more than one person is a secret poorly kept.
Did he say 5 people?
Yeah.
2 of us. The pastor, him, and the guy who takes the alms, the creepy guy.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I forgot
and
about
also the messenger.
Ah.
That's 6 people.
That's 6, yeah.
But
I guess he's safe.
But the guy who takes the alms isn't necessarily like right there.
No, he's like off fucking around with some chore or something.
I was gonna say that's okay. We can say that the KGB guy's bad at math.
Means
Listen, I
the
know
sound
how
is
many
good.
rounds. I know how many.
I like to believe that there's at least one of them that's really bad at math.
Oh yeah.
It makes my life better thinking about it.
I know how many rounds go into a PPSH Walther. I do not know how many rounds go into your body before you die.
When the hand grenade goes to the count of 3, throw the holy hand grenade. 1, 2, 5.
3, sire. 3. But anyway, yeah, he's just kind of standing there, and he offers you a cigarette, Olseg.
I'll take it just to be friendly.
Yeah, and Kurikov as well.
We'll take one as well.
Yeah, he lights them both for you with a very nice lighter. This looks like a World War I trench lighter that's been very well maintained.
Ah, you too are from the trenches.
He takes a long drag and says, "I try not to think about it much."
Not many of us who saw it do.
And he like looks at your pockmarked face and goes, "I could see it from a while away, but I didn't want to be rude."
That is not rude. I know I am not one to bring the ladies.
He says, "You might be looking in the wrong towns then." And he's like, "Big strong war hero?" And like takes another long drag.
Most are not appreciative of what we come here for.
I see. And he pins it immediately, goes, "Hold on, let me guess. Some sort of domestic, and I'm assuming that you are probably a recruitment drive?"
Indeed, we are here to recruit more men for potential conflicts with Poland.
Makes sense. Well, don't tell the batshit man. And like he fucking motions his cigarette off towards the off towards the fucking manor. That we're going to war with Poland again. It might shake him out of his coma.
I try to not react to that because, as far as people know, I haven't had a meeting
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
Just kind of give like a weird look, like, well, if I ever speak to the man about town, I shall remember to do so. Or to not do so, as it were.
Yeah, he kind of cocks his head and goes, He goes, he's been waiting for a war with Poland that happened hundreds of years ago, so who knows with him? Must be too deeply buried in his history books, or I don't know. And kind of shrugs. And he actually looks at you and he stretches for a second and goes, I hate to make our time short, but my friend and I here, and he nods towards the messenger, we actually have some business. We've been asked to take a look at the bathhouse plumbing, so I suppose that I'm not exactly a plumber, but I know my way around a few pipes. And the guy in the balaclava is just like, I'm the man who knows the pipes. He just wants to walk around and look important. And they both kind of chuckle to each other.
Always needs to be someone to look important.
Says, "Damn right, wouldn't be a bureaucracy otherwise." And shoots you a big cheeky smile under his mask. And he says, "Come on, old man, let's go check it out." And he doffs his Mijo doffs his Ushanka and says, "Gentlemen, a good day to all of you, and I hope that your progress goes unimpeded and successful."
And to you as well.
He nods and they walk off. And the second they walk off, Praskevich's face, like, drops from, like, this smile to, like, a much more, like, exhausted look.
Kind of take note of that and, something trouble you, father.
Says, "Trouble? No, we've only had our sheriff hanged recently, and this Mijo person has shown themselves as someone who sticks their nose into grieving people's business. There's no trouble for me."
Your sheriff was hung. Usually that is the sheriff's duty, not his end.
Very well put. And
Wait, so have we agreed that only Sunsika at this point has been Groundhog Dang?
So far, it seems kind of like it.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at you and goes, "Gentlemen, it is cold out here. Come, let's go inside."
Lead the way, father. It is your house, after all.
And he looks at you and goes, "Son, it is not my house. It is our house." And we'll, like, cut away as he, like, opens the doors to walk in.
Damn
And
it,
we
he
will-
out-commied me.
What a lad.
Yeah. And we're going to cut to Anatolian Avenat. And yeah, you guys go into the workhouse. And Sunsika is there, and she's like, runs up to you, Anatoly, and goes, "Oh, Comrade Peshenko, it is a pleasure to see you, and Avanad as well." And,
As it is to see you again, my dear.
and she says, "Oh, go ahead."
No, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, she says, "Actually, it is very serendipitous that you came here at this point in time." And she kind of, like, looks around for a second and then kind of huddles both of you in, and goes, "I think that Grandma Yulia wants to see you."
Oh, that is fortunate. We are interested in her as well.
Mm-hmm. And she smiles and says, "Come, quickly." She she leads you to kind of like a darker corner in the back, where at a table you see an old woman. Her eyes are grayed over. She's wearing a thick red sweater, and she has like a dark green patchwork black or dress that goes to the floor, ratty and hangs at the very bottom, but otherwise fairly well maintained. Her hands are kind of shaking as she purls along the oh, what do you call it? It's not a needle. It's for it's like a bigger needle that they use for knitting.
Oh, I don't
Crochet?
even remember.
Yeah, crochet. As she purls the crochet through the row, you can see her hands visibly trembling. And Sansika walks up and goes over to the woman, and like whispers something to her, and she kind of sets her knitting down just a little bit. Says, "I hear that there are 2 young men for me." And she's got this
Yeah.
grin that shows like one tooth with a hole through it. Like her teeth are all yellow. She's got old people teeth.
Well, of course. She's going to, step forward. She's sitting, correct?
Huh?
She's sitting, correct?
Yes. She's sitting in like a booth.
So he's going to come, doff his hat,
Mm-hmm.
bow deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and as it would seem, the pleasure is all mine.
And Avanad kind of bows and says, "It is a pleasure to meet you, ma'am." Or, "It is a pleasure to meet you, ma'am." I forgot he has a deep voice, even though he's a scrawny boy. And she kind of says, "Ah, and well polite too. Very, very nice. Though one of you, I think, is, of course, born to be polite, and the other one chooses." And she has like a big smile on her face.
Well, I guess it's hard to decide which one is which, Avanad?
Avanad shrugs with like this weird half smile, half like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like on his face, and says, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, eh? But yeah, he takes a seat. I'm assuming you do too.
Yes.
Yeah. She says, "So, you have come to me for what reason?"
Fuck if I know, lady, but I'll figure it out here.
Why did that sound like something you'd say on your deathbed? Coughing and all right there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably kind of looking at Avanad back to her. We are interested in the town and its history. We have heard stories of the creation of this town and some of the deities that inhabit it. We are curious to know more.
She says, "You're wanting to know of the beginning of this town. Well, the story is of 1 man and of 5 men. And one of them you may even know."
Really? That
She
would
smiles
surprise
again.
me.
Yeah, she smiles again, says, "There are many, many, many tales about how this town was put together, whether it was for the geology or the geography around that gave us fertile hunting grounds and good timber industry, whether it was from ogres in a swamp, whether it was from who knows, many, many things that it could be. Some people believe God put this town here. Some people believe God wanted town to be wiped off the map. but nobody truly understands what this town is.
Hmm. The man in the church seems to have a good idea. At least
Hmm.
more than he lets on.
Is it a man?
I'm sorry?
The man in the church. Is it a man?
What is the pastor's name? I forget.
Boro Praskovia.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down real quick.
Yeah.
Praskovia. Okay,
Yeah,
it's probably
I
with a
can-
K, but yeah.
There we go.
Praskovia. Okay.
Can you also write out that Mio guy's name?
Oh yeah, the Mijo Pavlovsky. There you go.
Here, I am adding all
Hmm.
of this to the important people. One
That
second.
name makes me salivate.
Yeah.
Why?
Very good.
Why? Because it's Mio, or
Pavlov.
what about it?
Ding.
What about Pavlov?
Like Pavlovian responses. His name is Mijo
Oh,
Pavlovsky.
hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
We have yet to meet an Ivanovsky.
Oh, there are Ivans. There's one Ivan.
Is there an Ivan Ivanovsky?
There's not an Ivan Ivanovsky,
Damn it.
unfortunately.
What is Lyudoyed? We put that in the comments.
That is the
Is that
name
a
of
person?
No, that's the name of the ogre god that is
Ah.
worshipped. Or no,
I
that's
was
the
gonna
name
say,
of the
I can't-
religion, not the ogre god.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
actually see the registry of NPCs right now.
There you go.
Yeah,
Important people / facts.
Gary can look at the registry of NPCs
If
because
I
he
want
helped me
to.
make this game.
Gotcha. Let's see.
Yeah. But I
It's 12.
respect him, and I think that he has the ability to respect me too.
Yeah.
So, kind of shooting Avanade a glance. The last I checked, Pastor Boro was a man. Unless you were referring to something else.
No, I know of Pastor Boro. But is he a man?
I did not think to ask, I just assumed. How
And-
rude of me.
She looks at Avenant and says, "Are you a man?" And Avenant looks visibly confused and goes, "Yes, I think so." And he like jokingly looks at his crotch and then looks back at her and says, "Yep, pretty sure."
Yeah,
And
that makes you male, Avanade. Does it make you a man?
and she kind of laughs. It is interesting. You are so close to the point, yet I fear that you do not even recognize it.
Maybe with your infinite wisdom you could point me in the right direction?
She says, infinite wisdom.
Or
Well,
finite, whichever you prefer.
she says, I don't think that it is early enough to give up the ghost, but I will tell you about the people who made this town, who brought it into life. You see, one man had an idea that they wanted to settle a place somewhere deep within the woods, somewhere with some sort of. And she kind of like looks around almost sarcastically. Intrigue. And deep within these woods, that man laid his flag. But no man is an island, and 4 others came and helped him lay every brick and mortar of this place, every plank nailed down, every stone set. Then once they were comfortable in their new town, they went and found people from other towns. Slowly, a trickle came, but then, at once, a thunderous explosion. 100. Nearly uncountable. But, of course, they knew. They knew. They kept record. They watched. They waited. And eventually, they withered away. And they died. That is the town that you are in now. The town in which 5 men became gods. Yet, only one of them still stands. The other 4 in spirit, of course, but only one of them.
Would that happen to be kind of the glancing in the general direction of the manor? Would you be mentioning names? Is that the man you are talking of?
I think it would be rude of me to speak for someone else. I think. Excuse me. I think when the time comes, you'll know. All will be laid bare, and the town of Severovo will be a much, much more interesting place for you.
I'm going to ask you a question and hope I do not sound either rude or crazy. Is Sunsika still in the room?
Yeah, but she's like far away.
Okay, have you noticed anything repeating itself?
She cracks a big, slow smile. You can almost smell the bad odor from her mouth as she smiles and says, "Things happen in this town. The fog has not only been here for a couple months. Some may think so. You have been here, longer than you think. And I'm not talking lightly longer than you think."
So at this, there's a long moment of tension where he's just staring at her. And then to break the tension, he smiles and chuckles. Then maybe, when I am out of here, the war will have ended, yes?
She says, "Who's to say the war hasn't already ended? Who's to say it never happened?"
Eh. Well, I guess either way, looking at Avanad, most people predicted this to be a short war, no longer than a winter.
And she smiles and says, "Your preoccupation with the world around you might be a little..." And she thinks for a second. "Misguided. But it certainly is fun to watch."
When you say the world around me, do you mean the world inside or outside of the fog?
She says, "Aren't they inextricably linked? Star-crossed lovers, never to meet, but always to flirt? What is the boundary between them, really? Is it a layer of fog? Or is it a layer of ignorance?"
Either way, if I'm spending too much time looking at the world around me, what should I be looking at?
Counterintuitively, the world around you.
From a different lens or a different perspective?
Today you will be approached by a woman Her name is Leia Radko. We have never
Um,
spoken.
How do we spell
Oh, yeah.
that? Leia. Okay.
We have never spoken, and I've never even met the woman. But I know of her existence. Today she shall contact you, and she will tell you about what she believes is going on in this town. Listen to her, but understand that she is more like you than you might think.
And when she contacts me, what am I to do?
Man, that choice is all for you. I'm just an old woman who wishes to spin tales and see how things play out. And I also want you to know there are many threats in this town, but malice is the greatest of all of them.
Who's heard malice before?
You have everyone.
All
has.
of us.
I was gonna say
We
I
heard it
was
from the
wondering
sheriff.
if
Yep.
yes, malice. What can you say of malice? Is it a thing, an idea, a person, a mechanic?
She says, threefold. You've answered your own question. And as for the fourth, and she kind of shoots you a knowing smile and says, she shoots you a smile and says, why do I feel that you are not speaking of men who repair machines?
Because is Severovo merely a town of dirt, mud, and snow? Or is it more?
She looks you dead in the eye and says, Gunnar, that is for you to find out.
What?
And we're going to cut back to the church.
What? You can't cut away from that.
So, back at the church.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
I know. I
can.
just wanted to get away from the mic and have an angry yell.
Yeah. So, back at the church. You guys are inside, and the pastor sits down on one of his well-worn wooden pews and says, so, gentlemen, I'm sure that you have questions. Go ahead and ask them. I don't take any of you for the religious type, and to be honest with you, I've been poked and prodded enough that I'm numb, and you seem much less, invasive than the other fellow.
Odd. Usually the
Hold
people
on.
that I
First-
interview are fully aware of the invasiveness that the KGB is known for.
What were you saying, Krikov?
I was getting ready to say that I am very invasive, and I hope he understands that. It feels. I feel like James is covering that.
But yeah, he says, well, it is not as if he walked towards me wearing an official uniform of the KGB. You see, I figured you and your ilk for the descendants of... I figured you and your ilk for the descendants of Okrana. But that man... And you see like a visible shiver go down his spine and like a bead of sweat on his fat, bald head like shoot down. And he says, that man has replaced the blood in his veins with something.
Okrana. I've not heard of this name before.
He says, "Oh, the Okrana, the men who made sure that the pagans in their fields with their silly beliefs eventually would fall in line with the state. My father and his father dealt with them."
Wait, did you say piranha?
No, Okrana.
Okrana.
Oh, I thought you said piranha, which I'm like, that is light in a different language. Actually, I
The
believe
fish are
that's
in the fields.
Actually, I think that's Arabic for, oh god, it's not light in a physical meaning, but like
But
a
like the
metaphorical.
light.
Yes, because the stupid, not the, the misguided people, Breatharians, talk about that a lot.
See, I thought you said piranha for a second.
No.
And I thought, like, fuck's a piranha
And your
gotta
guy,
do?
potentially with some memory jogging, he might know about the Okrana. They were like a czarist tool to suppress religion. But they're from like I don't know, like 50 to 100 years ago. Like the last of the Okrana would probably have died off around 50 years ago, and by that time they weren't an official organization. But they were known to be pretty zealotous about their anti-zealotism.
They're zealous about being non-zealous.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get you.
Yeah.
May I be frank with you, Father?
I would prefer it no other way.
I do not give a damn to what superstition you lay claim. What I care about right now is that, despite everyone else seeming to act as if the last few days did not occur, you have full memory of it.
He says, may I be frank with you?
Of course.
There are things in this town that I do not know how to explain, and I've been witness to many of them. Most of what I do is try to lead my flock away from the strange and perverse that come from these anomalies. It must be the way of some sort of god to test or punish us, but for what or for why, I cannot tell you. I see my role as a shepherd. Nothing more, nothing less.
Then so long as me and mine are part of this flock, even if only by happenstance, perhaps we should compare notes.
He, says, brother, my notes are far too long. You see, I don't know when I came back.
When you came back.
I left to march during the Great Peace March that ended in Bloody Sunday. And I don't remember ever returning. But
How long ago was that?
about 10 years ago, I think, at this point.
19... Well, I thought that was in the 1917 revolution.
I think you're right. So I guess it'd be about 20 years ago-ish.
Yeah, a little over 20 years, because this is 39, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the war hasn't broken out, because September 6th is when they invade Poland.
Yes. And it's currently, like, not September yet. It's the month before September. October. No?
No. August.
August, thank you. Yeah, it's currently August. Late August, but August.
Imagine forgetting the month before September.
Bloody Sunday
Welcome
was
to being me!
Bloody
Hey,
Sunday was
dude.
1905 in St. Petersburg.
Okay, so yeah, it was about 30 years ago then. It doesn't matter necessarily for this
Yeah,
timeline.
I know.
because,
I
I'm
just
still
wanted
an
to
old
get
enough
kind of a
guy.
context for what my character would know.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
She was like a teenager back then.
Yeah,
I
he
was
was.
getting ready to say.
Well, he looks about 50-ish. So he was a young man, but yeah, he was a young,
Assuming
passionate man.
that time has flown correctly.
Right, right.
You certainly are looking well for someone who would participate in something like that.
He says, "Are you speaking of my age or of my lack of bullet holes?"
Can it not be both?
He unbuttons the top two buttons on his like parishioner's vest and pulls it aside, and you see right like a millimeter away from his heart, there's a big fucking like scar.
Can I mean, I'm probably not gonna pass, but can I roll a medicine just to kind of be like,
Yeah,
if it's medically possible for someone in 1905 to survive
Yeah.
something like that?
Would
Absolutely.
I also get the chance to do that?
go for it.
Bet.
Hell yeah!
Nice. You can go ahead as well.
As soon as I find the button for it. Yeah, there it is. Oh,
Ah.
dude, I got 1% on that.
Krikov, you're like, damn, he's got to be lucky.
Oh, wait,
Olseg,
I hit medicine instead of first aid.
Go
That'd
ahead
probably
and
give me
roll
a
the
better chance.
go ahead and roll the first aid instead.
Where is it?
Uh,
Where is it?
uh, uh,
Does anyone know where it is?
Middle
Uh,
column, second cluster. It's right under
Oh.
firearm skill 2.
Yep, I see it.
mm-hmm.
That's way better.
Yeah. So Krikov, you know, like it's theoretically possible. Olzeg, you've seen men in the field during the Great War who like they took shots like this, and it is a long shot, but possible to survive this. But like the cartridge looks like it would have been the standard like rifle cartridge of that time, fired by the military.
7.62.
Actually, back then I think it was. What do you
Well,
guys have?
I guess depends. Are you talking like Enfields? He
Um,
was so he was getting shot at by German cars, which is
no,
actually
he was getting shot at. He was getting shot at by
you're right.
Tsarist. Because Bloody
who would be
Sunday.
carrying Mosins.
Yeah. They would be. So yeah, you're right. 7.62. It's a 7.62 rifle cartridge. That like clearly went through him. You've patched people up. Who have gotten the same and not survived. Like maybe you got some people because like that goes through the lung too, right?
Yeah,
Where he
that's
gets
going to be a
shot.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't those also like revolvers where it's the exit wound that's going to be worse?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
clearly
he
this
says-
is either some sort of weird shit's going on, or he got incredibly lucky, especially with 1905 medicine.
And he actually looks at you and almost seems to be like reading your face perfectly and goes, "I think it is only by the grace of God or some other supernatural force that I am alive today. The surgeon who operated on me was hit by a car immediately, or not by a car. The surgeon who was with me, who operated on me, died by falling off of something very tall. Just the same day he got off, an hour later, he was gone. There is a divine purpose, and sometimes it feels as if dominoes are set up only to be knocked down. I am lucky I am not the one with the motive force of a finger behind me."
I'm going to be straight with you. Anatoly, or as you know him, Mr. Beshenko, was forthcoming with the information that you told him. But that is not why I am here. It is the belief that there is information that you are not telling us that seems more pertinent.
He looks at you and gives you a hard gaze and says, "Your type have come to this town before, and I admire them for their inquisitiveness. However, something happens to people who dig too deep into this town. Watch this Mijo man. He will not last. If you continue to dig the way you do, you will not last. This is not a threat. This is not a promise. This is simply my observation." And
Kind of know.
his face has changed from that jovial face that you kind of know him as to the concerned face beforehand to a whole new layer of just dead, stony face, as if he's talking to himself in the mirror after brushing his teeth.
But I will say this to you, good doctor. These men, and getting them out of here, are my only concern right now. I do not even know if this town is truly here or if it is some sort of hocus pocus curse, the same as this fog. I know, though, that there are 3 men beside myself who survived a strange attack and woke up here in this limbo. And I have clawed my way through trench, through mud, and through Tsarists. I'm not going to let some town stop me from protecting my men.
He stares you down for what feels like an eternity, but is probably only about 30 seconds. He breaks, gives you this big smile and says, "You know, I admire your gumption, Mr. Malgonovich. Excuse me, Lieutenant Malgonovich. If you need any help, you need only ask. I hide nothing from you. And I hid nothing from your man, though he attempted to hide from me. I do not care if this was an order or his own folly. But as long as you speak to me in the same way you would speak to any other man that you wish to work with and not against, then you will be working with me."
Then perhaps I should be more explanative of one of my prior comments. What do you know about a man, a thing, a something, a boogeyman named Malice?
He takes a deep breath and leans back and says, "Malice is a word oft not used here. Names have power, and malice is the incarnate of power. A child with building blocks and small figures that only can be smashed. Malice does not understand restraint. I don't even think malice understands itself. But there are certain things that can make malice eminent and very obviously real."
And it would seem that Zasbo found some of that.
Your friend who found himself partially merged with a half-track, he understood malice. And he leans back and says, "Lubitschek's grave is there, but it is open. And soon it won't be there at all. He'll never come back to my flock, leastways, not in the way that he was, or ever could have been. There is something very strange that is going to happen soon. And I understand it. It is not the work of God. It is not the work of devil. This is the work of malice.
You refer to Malice as a boy, a child. Is it not possible that Malice could be a woman? Or two? Or three?
Malice can take many forms. There is no one set. I use metaphor as easier convention for truly explaining the manner and depth. Allow me to put it to you this way. In this world, there is hatred. There is death. There is famine. There is disease. And there are men. And when all of these things converge into one point, a single axiom of the energies that we face, I believe that somewhere in that small place, is where Malice sits, atop a throne of broken toys.
There are not many here who fit that description.
And he kind of smiles and says, No. No one that I can see with my own eyes. But I know it to be true. And I know that one does not simply poke a bear for the fun of running.
No, but there comes a time when if all one can do is poke the bear in order to survive, in order to save themselves from something far worse than even being devoured alive by an angered bear, what else is there to do?
I have one more parable, and this one may seem a little more concrete. There once was a man who believed himself stronger than anyone in town. So strong that he could protect his loved ones, no matter what the cost. This man fought day and night because he was not accepted in this town. It happens. But this town knew that it would break him. Every night, he would not sleep, because he knew the town would speak to him. Every night, he would watch over his child and over his wife. And he would stay, because he knew the town would take them from him. But one night, the town caught him unaware. A single nightcap ended up causing a little bit of drowsiness. And all it took was 5 minutes, and the man's family was gone. So, what does a man whose family's safety is challenged do? He went to where he believed the town itself lived, to the marsh, and he attempted to fight. The man was big and strong like an ox, almost as big as, and like points over at Krikov, almost as big as your friend here. He did not lose his size. No, his strength was the one thing used against him. That man does not speak anymore, and no one would take him in, but me. Pay an alms for Alexander on your way out. I must write for my next sermon.
I'm trying to. This man, does he still haunt this town at night?
Um, he says, maybe I was not clear enough. The gentleman who takes our alms.
I had my suspicions, but considering there has been a stranger stalking our makeshift barracks at night.
He says, I do not know who is stalking your barracks. Could be malice, could be someone friendly, could be someone who is an enemy. The one thing I would say, and he stands up and kind of pats you on the shoulder, is that whoever they are, they come knocking to your door late at night, I would ask them questions before you let them in from the cold.
A good
And,
policy for most people.
Yeah, and he kind of holds his arm outstretched as kind of like a, all right, it's time for
Yeah,
you to leave
yeah, get
sort
out.
of thing. Yeah.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
That's right, sus man.
Hey, I've
Um,
done nothing.
Yeah, I get up and, motion for Kreekhaw to fall in line. Like, I will not lie, we may be back with questions later. But thank you for this enlightening talk.
Says, of course. It is the least I can do for our military men who are guests in this town. And if you ever wish to be... And, like, as you're, like, walking out, he says, if you ever wish to be a son of this city, please, just come and ask. And he closes the door behind him, and you hear the heavy bar of the double door lock. And we're going to cut back to the common house.
We're not gonna cut back to Anatoly being like, who the fuck, he's gone, or...
That is Anatoly at the common house.
Oh, I thought they had gone somewhere else. My bad, I kind of spaced
No.
for a moment.
No, you're good.
What? What did you call me?
She says, you fire weaponry, right? And she has a massive sly grin on her face.
I am the cook.
Sure. You are the cook. And you are not the cook.
No,
The
I am the
question is,
cook.
you may tell yourself you are the cook as much as you wish. But where does the split happen?
What split?
And she says, could happen on the smallest level, or even a level potentially above that, or the grand level, but you are not the cook. You may say it, and you may be it, but at the same time you are not.
Do you have any last words of advice to leave us before we go?
She kind of thinks very pensively and says, everyone you work with has secrets. Everyone in this town has secrets. Remember, sometimes the secrets are intentional.
At that, he nods, ushers himself to his feet,
Mm-hmm.
nods his head to her, and says, "Game on."
Wait, what did you say?
Game on.
She smiles this huge grin and says, I think you're getting closer to the truth than when we first started speaking. Go and find your truth, my son.
He nods and walks out.
Avanad is like trailing behind you, and like as soon as you get out of there, he like rushes up to you and is like, "What the fuck was she on?"
I don't know. I would rather not talk about it right now. I would rather talk about anything right now.
All right, whatever you say. And he kind of like lifts up his hands, kind of takes a step back.
I'm sorry.
Somebody's
I-
angry.
Is fine. I understand.
What's wrong, Connor?
Sometimes
Peanut gallery, shut up.
he says, not I wouldn't listen or put too much stock in what that lady says. She seemed, for lack of a better word, fucking bonkers.
You say that. Yes, and I would agree with you. However, I will warn you of this. When we meet Leia Radko, and I call her by name before she has chance to introduce herself, you will understand. And then
Yeah.
you will be ready.
He nods and says, "Ready for what?"
I don't know. He was just being honest.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
respect
know.
it. I respect it.
This entire time we've been 2 steps behind. 1 step forward. And suddenly, it's not that we've taken 2 steps back. It's that the hallway has gotten fucking longer.
Avanad kind of looks at you and goes, "I could see that. No, no. Why does it
Whatever.
feel like every time we learn something new about this town, it's as if we've opened a new layer on some sort of autopsy?"
I will tell you why. Because this town is a rotting, festering corpse.
Hmm.
And we are the surgeons doing the autopsy.
Hmm. Well, I don't remember going to medical school personally. And he like cracks a big grin.
Avanad is Avanad, yes. Anatoly is really fucking pale right now. But
Yeah.
he gives kind of those ghost of a smile. Let's keep this to ourselves for now, yes?
He nods and says, "Whatever you say, boss." To be
No need
honest
to-
with you,
Go ahead.
he says, "To be honest with you, Olzeg seems a fair man, but I question sometimes just how he looks at me and how he looks at the situations. You saw what he did to Lubitschek."
Duh. And what do you think of Kryakov? He has not
Seems-
been the same since he came back to us.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he used to, but I don't know. He's never struck me as somebody who's in on something.
Like Olzeg.
Yes, like Olzeg. There's
And what-
something about that Olzeg. I feel like he's not telling us the whole story.
He's KGB. He'd never tell us the whole story, even if he wanted to.
He nods and he says, "Sometimes I wonder if those silver-tongued bastards are more likely to tell me the truth or shoot me in the head when it's convenient. But, you know, it is what it is. I can trust them as much as I can trust anything else in this town." He stops and he reaches out his hand for like a handshake and he says, "Listen, no matter what happens, I have no doubts in my mind that you're here for me and you've got my back."
He reaches out and shakes it,
Mm-hmm.
giving, kind of a firm grip. And you for me, comrade.
He nods and he says, "Once we get out of here, I think both of us are going to need a stiff drink, a good woman, and about 5 days of vacation on some tropical island somewhere.
I hear there is. Oh, where is it? A tiny little island in the Pacific. It's Wake.
Bora Bora.
I hear is beautiful in the summer.
Says, yes, we'll have to find a way out to there.
Of course.
And maybe it's about this time that you guys, as you're kind of walking towards the center of the area, you meet up with Red Team. And 2 teams merge to become one!
Avanad was then drafted as a liaison to the U.S. Marine Corps. He died on Guadalcanal. I'm sorry.
I love that. I love that.
Make it canon,
yeah.
you won't.
You guys both meet up, and both of you have one member who looks pretty pale and the other one who looks average, if not a little confused.
So wait, hold on. On mine and Olzig's side, which one are we?
Yeah, you're the
Pale Boy.
average but somewhat confused.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, Olzig's kind of the one who got the brunt of the what the fuck information, and you just were kind of there.
I was a witness. I
Yeah,
witnessed
you
it.
were a witness.
I would
Yeah,
say.
true.
Me!
Yeah,
It's hard. Sorry, it's hard to be Russian right now when
Yeah.
I'm too busy munching on Chinese.
it's hard to be Russian when he's so slow.
It's
no.
hey,
Hey, wait a minute.
it
wait a
would have
minute.
been easier to do that before the Sino-Soviet split.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
History jokes,
I missed something.
Jokes. Oh,
because you're eating Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. We'll explain later. So, you guys.
I only partially understand Russian history, so just World War II stuff.
Yeah. You and everyone else who's been through the American high school system.
Right? Boy, it's a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
Commie's
But yeah.
bad.
Tommy's
Hey.
bad.
Whatever you say, history of Russia taught me quite a bit.
True. No, I agree. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think that it's weird, the preoccupation that like the school system has with like we need to teach a lot of World War II history. You know what I mean?
Because
That's
I mean,
what
yeah.
created
The US
America.
Yeah, that's
pretty
fair.
much the U.S. was not a superpower pre-1945.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean,
You
that's
can
just
s-
because we decided to make nukes.
Well, we also were one of the only places in the entire world where our superstructure was intact. We
Mhm.
could machine things and do everything else that people couldn't because they didn't have the infrastructure or money to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, say it with me, boys, nukes. And that's exactly why
Nuke the whales.
no one's pushing the button on us, right? That's I
Mm.
mean we did. But that's why no one pushes the button on us, because we'll push the button right back. We don't care if we die.
Okay.
Anyway.
yeah.
Anyway, you guys meet up together in the like main area.
Okay, that was not fair. I call unfairness.
What is so unfair about having you going to talk to an old woman?
Avanad, you tell him. Crazy old
Avanad-
hag, yes?
Huh?
Crazy old hag, yes?
Avanad says, babbling, completely insane. Not really much information proper.
So, you're not totally scared of old lady?
What
Excuse me?
information were you able to get out of her?
No. Excuse me? Did you say I am afraid of old lady?
Perhaps?
Avanad says, no, don't worry. You are not scared of old lady, just like Kruyakov is not scared of harmless little rodents.
Or doctors, yes?
Oh, yes.
First of all,
I am going to start making you all afraid of the back of my hand if we do not start behaving.
Avanad kind of
Said we're all
straightens
afraid
out.
of
And
this
it's like,
already.
"Yes, sir."
Yes.
Said we're already afraid of that.
Yes, Commander.
You do not think that just because you are a giant doesn't mean I will not find a step stool to slap you.
That's KGB right there.
Mhm.
If KGB would be able to just cut your legs off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cut your legs up.
Bring you
Immense magic.
down to my level.
Man.
And I'm KGB,
No,
so that
see-
level's way down.
No, see, now. No, see, but Olzek was taking the polite approach. You know, he would come up to my level instead of bringing me down to his.
Yeah, because he
Find a-
respects you.
Find someone who, when they're going to physically assault you, they at least are on eye level with you when they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, right. See, that's something you can appreciate. You know, if someone's gonna kick your ass, how they get to eye level, it's all important in that. You know, shows you if
It's
they
like-
respect you or
It's
not.
like that comic, the like how to talk to short people, but like instead of leaning
Yeah.
over and hitting them, it's just picking them up and hitting them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
See,
so
it's perfect.
But yeah, so
Anyway.
sorry. I will go first. This lady was speaking of, well, the name I'm sure we have both heard of at this point.
Malice?
Meals?
Let us be careful with that name, yes? Maybe here is fine, but around others, be cautious.
Names have power. Let us say it as little as we are able to. At least,
Agreed.
if we are to listen to the pastor.
And
Perhaps it's like
running into issues. Mention man who runs church. She said, but is he a man? Or but is it a man? At first I thought she was talking of Boros. But the more she talked, the more she made it sound like this character, was running church.
Go on.
As for why she was asking about man, I'm not sure. Not thinking what are they describing him as what? Not a man, a thing?
Avanad looks and says, "That was crazy, though. I mean, she asked me if I was a man, and I mean, not to say you all like to sneak peeks, but we've taken showers together."
Yes, but that only makes you male, not man.
You see, that is what Anatoly said. Why does everyone say that? And he like, he kind of like,
Could
he's like,
be-
whatever.
could be true, brother.
Mm.
Also, she mentioned. How did she put it, Avanad? One of us was trained to bow, the other was born to?
I believe something like that. One
How
of
did
us
how did
chooses-
she say that?
So she said one of you chooses to be polite, the other one was made to.
One of us chooses to be polite, the other was made to be polite.
I would not
Question
put
is-
too much stock in the musings of some old crone.
No, agreed. There was not much else, to be honest.
Well,
Nothing useful, at least right at this moment, yes?
Avanad kind of like nods.
well, we spoke to the...
Avanad nod.
Avanad nods.
The nod of Avanad.
The
Yeah.
nod of Avanad.
Right.
Yeah.
The nod of Avenad. Avenad's not that nod. Avenad's not. Right. What we managed to get out of the father was not much different than you were able to. In fact, well, he has a small message for you, Anatoly. If we are going to treat him, if we are going to pump him for information, let us at least be forthcoming with that fact.
Ah, yes, that bastard that decided he knew my name before I introduced myself, yes?
I do not pretend to know how he knew that, but I do not pretend to know half of the things that are going on here anymore.
He also
how
knew our
he's-
name.
From how he spoke of it, it seems that the day is not repeating for him. He was also apparently not present in this town until some time that even he does not know. I believe that he actually died during Bloody Sunday, and that was over
They-
30 years ago.
I was 5. How? What?
Indeed,
Why?
something is wrong in this town, and as he puts it, this malice is like a child playing with blocks and toys.
Wait. A what? A
child.
Do
An
Avana, do you think that was...
imaginative yet destructive creator.
Have you ever met a child, Olzeg? They're literal monster.
Hence why he
Avanad.
said that our former captain is more aware of the nature of malice than us.
Avanad?
Avanad looks and says, "Yeah, no."
Is that what she was asking? But is it a man? What is the difference between man and child? A child largely gets a pass, yes? Because he's child.
But
He's
man knows better.
Yes, man knows not to act on impulses. Child will do as
Not
as
so
it
much,
feels.
yes.
Hmm.
I feel that is only one part of the story, but it's a part to keep in mind. This thing cannot be
Very
reasoned
important.
with, yes?
Yes. The
It
Good
can,
to know, yes.
on the other
Hmm.
hand, children can be bribed.
And kind of as you're having this conversation, you see a woman who is in like a mink fur coat, um, like like a very fashionable like side hat sort of thing, very well made up, and like very attractive. Like walk up to you, kind of like looking around as if she's like trying to see if anyone else is even like watching like her walk towards you in a public place.
Captain, allow me.
And
Motion for him to go ahead.
she walks up and she says, "I'm judging by your
First name.
what my first name.
Da.
I am Leia."
Miss Radko.
She kind of like steps back for a second and kind of looks you up and down. "You have good information gathering, I take it."
I have been told to expect you, yes.
And she looks even more perplexed and she's like, "By who?"
That is a discussion, I believe, for later. But first, you came to us for what reason?
She is way thrown off. Like
Yes.
she like you can tell she had like a whole thing she was gonna go through, and like now she's like redoing like, fuck, how do I say this, what do I say with this, she's like,
Why don't we start from the beginning?
okay, something is wrong with this town, and it's not something that is wrong that anyone else will tell you. It is not the fog, it is not the people here, it is not any strange conspiracy theories, but I don't know what's wrong with this town, and I know that I don't have the full story, and you seem to have at least more pieces of the story than most of the other people in this town.
Kind of shooting Olzeg a glance. This is what I was afraid of.
What parts of this puzzle do you think we have that you do not have?
Not here, not now. I need you to follow me.
You go on a good few steps ahead. I would like to discuss with my commanding officer as you lead us. Yes?
Of course, if you wish to point a rifle at my back while I lead you, I'm more than happy with it.
No, not the rifle.
And
Talking only.
yeah, and she starts leading you through town. And she takes you actually to my I had to refresh because my game froze up. Hold on one
You're
second.
But I was going to say, as we're walking, I would like to kind of fill Anatoly in. Fill Olzeg in for a second.
Yeah.
That is. Yes, Lea Radko. This is problem, Captain, Commander. We were told to expect her.
By who?
The old hag. Who else?
It does get him to narrow his eyes, and he's like, but if she was telling the truth about that...
That is what worries me. That is why I suggest we listen to what she has to say.
Tell me,
go ahead.
was her reason for coming here prophesized as well?
To tell us what is going wrong? Yes. But I would suggest we take it slow. I do not yet believe she is to be trusted.
We don't have much of a choice, I'm afraid.
And she leads you guys through the high income district to a small house, like a farmhouse kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
And like leads you in, closes the door behind you. The house is warm. There's a cat in the house. It's well decorated. It's a nice place. And she says, right, please sit down for a moment.
Mr. Radko, I take it this is your home, yes?
She says, well, yes, but no at the same time.
How
Adriana?
long have you lived here?
And
oh, sorry, she was introducing a new character. Let her introduce the new character.
But yeah, she says, Adriana, and a very metropolitanly dressed woman walks in.
Adriana, right?
Huh? Adriana, yes.
Okay. I
And
can spell that.
Yeah, I mean, here, I'll give you the full name. There you go. You could easily get her full name, and I'm not assuming that's going to be like a big plot point of, oh, I don't know her full name, so I'll just give that to you.
Unless we make it one.
Yeah, exactly. Look, but you see this woman
turned into anagrams. Sorry. Go ahead.
She like comes in and she has like a mug of tea, and like she sets it down on like a sill. It says, "Oh, you got them. You got them. That's wonderful. That's wonderful." And like she kind of straightens herself out and goes, I am Adriana Reibar.
This was not told to me, Captain.
Indeed.
And she says,
"Go ahead." I'm trying to throw her off as well. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, yeah, because Leia just goes like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have explained that. I happen to have a roommate," and kind of like points over, and Adrian is like, right. My apologies. Sometimes Leia can forget to give people details. We are currently working on something, but I suppose that I should let Leia explain. She's much better at the public speaking.
I have a question.
Yes.
What can I all right, I more or less just want to roll something right now. What can I roll to. Yes, her roommate. But roommate?
That'd be that'd be
Psychology?
Psychology, yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, no, definitely. You see that Adriana like slightly blushes when she's referred to as a roommate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All of this is highly illegal, by the way.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know that this is like something you keep from people in Russia at this time period.
And
It
this
is
time
very
period.
dangerous.
Yes,
as in
Well,
it's
yeah.
still
today.
illegal.
Yeah, yeah. We here at Paradise Theater fully endorse LGBTQ. And
Absolutely.
if you don't, you can choke on a big old rubber rainbow cock. But anyway,
You can choke on a wide Putin.
yes.
I mean, hey, they might, halfway enjoy that because their anger is probably repressed.
yeah, exactly.
You hear that,
But-
Russia?
It-
You're just
it all-
super gay.
Yeah.
It all stems from repression, so
Get dabbed on, Russia. Please don't kill me, Putin. Or do.
Yeah, I was about to say, James,
fucking
that's
try
off
it.
brand for you.
I mean,
Hey.
where's the problem?
I was gonna say, you die, and we get our 5 minutes of fame.
Eh,
I was
Yeah,
friends with the
see?
guy that Putin went out of his way to kill.
Fuck
Yeah,
this
exactly.
small-time
We
streamer.
win.
yeah.
Guys, we straight up win. And James straight up wins because that's all he wants. So, like,
Anyway,
All I want
Sorry.
for Christmas
yeah.
is death.
Anyway, please don't ever remind me of that song. So, Leia is like, right. So, there is something very wrong in this town. And it is not just something very wrong in this town in the sense that there is something supernatural going on. There is something so wrong, I don't even have the words to describe it.
Like
And
some
she-
people in the town repeating actions as if a day never happened.
Adriana goes, no, that is not even the worst of our problems. Not even
Huh.
close. That is not even close to a sign of something wrong compared to what I see.
Worse than people being turned into. Insert Transformers reference
Yeah.
here.
Well, that is actually fairly unrelated, but as alarming.
Or
And-
people thrashing themselves to death because they are partially stuck within a wall.
That is something that I need to tell you about. And
Yeah, just as bad as people being we're just throwing
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
at them. Like, oh,
Adrian-
you already know about that. Oh, and
Yeah.
that too. And wow,
Yeah.
we already got a lot more than we thought.
See,
they
she
would.
watches our YouTube VODs.
yeah. No, Adriana says, listen, she's the draw, but I am the numbers of this. If you would not mind following me into this room. And she kind of like opens a door. So yeah,
Big
you guys,
boy, big explosive men first.
yeah.
Yeah, spot hidden, let's fucking go.
All right. You walk into the room, and the room is a retrofitted laboratory, essentially. You can tell that this is a spare bedroom that someone has brought a lot of lab equipment, including computers, into.
Excuse me?
Yes,
Wait, what?
one wall is taken up by a small computer.
What?
Excuse me?
As in, like, one wall is taken up.
So
that
like
is
a
considered-
like
As
a,
in
like
by,
a 1950s
you know, this-
computer?
Huh?
Like a 1950s computer or like a fucking MacBook Pro?
No, like a 50s computer.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's
Time
not
is broken, boys.
it's not fully like
What?
1950s. It's still like prints ticker tape. Doesn't have a
Sure.
fucking like it's very much like the imitation game computer. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I know what you're talking
Um,
about.
Yeah. And
but
she's
still
like
technology that doesn't.
Right, that doesn't exist for another 10 years.
more like 3, but yeah. She's like yeah, and you see this big fucking thing and she goes, "Sorry, scientific calculator."
All right, you had to have one over us, I guess.
She says, "Trust me, I have several over you, but that is not the point." And she like points to a whiteboard, which you see several very, very complex math equations, right? Um, and she says, "Listen, I am." You're going to laugh at this. I am a physicist from Moscow.
I'm not sure why I
Severovo.
should laugh at
Women
that, but
scientists.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks at you and kind of continues. She's like, I have studied physics for my entire life. I've always had a passion for math. And I recently became trapped in this existential hellhole that we know as Severovo. I do not know what Severovo is. And
how long have you been here?
I do not know how long I've been in Severovo. I tried
How
to
many
write things
days
down.
have you counted?
That is a great question. I've lost track. I don't have a journal anymore and didn't know I was supposed to be counting days until about 3 months in, when I didn't even realize that I had been here for more than 3 months, even though I'd only been here for 3 months.
This is not important at the moment. We don't need to know how long we have been here. The problem is that we are here.
No. My friend, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but this is important. This is the most important. You see, there is a principle that is currently being reviewed and peer-reviewed by scientists, that time and space are inextricably linked. That with one, there is the other, and without one, there is not the other. And when one of them behaves strangely, they both behave strangely. The fact that we are currently in some sort of situation where time is moving incorrectly, sometimes overwriting itself, and even sometimes becoming two different parts of time at once, where people come here and never leave, and this town has only been under fog for 2 months, but in fact the town has been under fog for longer than anyone can remember, but no one seems to remember how long the fog has been here, except for 2 months. These are all very, very important scientific and philosophical questions that we need to ask. So I ask myself, what do I do? How do I measure this? So I figure maybe I do a few tests, right? Do some physics, some things that I was born to do, some things that I have studied doing at actual colleges in Moscow. So I come here. While I'm here, I run a few tests. I look at how quickly things fall. I look at how things float. I look at how things expand, how things contract, how the temperature works. I even look at how the distance between people's footprints. And I have an issue. There is no margin of variance. And like her hair is like completely fucking crazy at this point,
Slow
because she's
down.
been like pulling at it.
Yeah, be like,
Slow down.
I'm gonna push that. Probably the risk is I make her upset.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Can I use luck to fix that?
Yes.
Okay, because that's some bullshit right there.
So technically you are not allowed to use luck on pushing, but just for this one, because it's so inconsequential, I will allow you to use luck, but do not mark it as a successful roll.
Okay.
That'll be your trade-off.
Okay, I was gonna say, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Understandable that there is something strange here. But you are forgetting, madam. We are boots on the ground soldiers. We are not physicists. Do you mind explaining to us what this margin of variance means?
She kind of like takes a deep breath, and Leia like hands her cup of tea that she left in the other room. She takes a sip, kind of eases her shoulders down, and hands it back to Leia, nods, and goes, Okay, you make a fair point. She pulls out a drawer and pulls out a big fuck off knife and fucking like holds it out and goes, You understand what this is, right?
No.
She smiles at you, turns it upside down, and drops it onto the ground. Doom! Sticks straight up. This is a knife, and this is how a knife is normally supposed to act. right? But you would expect if I were to, and she pulls the knife out of the ground, angles it just slightly, drops it again, boom, right in the same spot, sticking straight up, and goes, "This is the problem. You see, in physics, we have an expression. You can get the same thing to happen twice if you're willing to fudge the numbers. We have things called variances. They're also known as tolerances. 0.005 of a centimeter here. Um, one liter of displacement difference. When you're talking about physics, nothing ever happens the same because it's a very delicate balance between tiny little atoms interacting with each other and making things happen in slightly different ways. And you account for wind, you account for weight, you account for any sort of imbalances. You will never get the same thing happening in the exact same way, even if you put it in a vacuum."
Let me try. Anatoly picks it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to hold it at a slightly more severe angle than she did, but only
Yeah.
slightly, maybe 2-3 degrees,
Okay.
and drop it.
Boom! Sticking straight up. It almost seemed to course correct in air.
Grabs it again, holds it at a full 90-degree angle to the ground, and drop.
Clatter, clatter, clatter.
Eh.
She says, "You see, it is not the big things. Things that are hard or things that are easy to observe are the devil. Because if I could observe it, I could much more clearly give you an example. But I guarantee you, if we measure the angle that this knife drops, and we measure how fast it drops, how deep it even buries itself into the wood, we will get the exact same numbers every time."
So what would fudge the numbers in this scenario? What would
Well-
be fudging physics?
Well, something that might cause the knife to change angle mid-air, perhaps a small breeze, or maybe the knife lands at a slight different y-axis instead of x-axis, more yaw instead of hew. But I did a test. What I did was I took this ball, and she takes a like a rubber ball. I like to use this to stress relief, right? Just bounce it on things. I took this ball and I made a target in the corner, and I bounced it, and I bounced it, and I bounced it, and I bounced it, and I bounced it for an entire day. And the entire time, without fail, as long as I hit the target in the same spot, it would land in exactly the same spot. And she points to two marks made in marker on the floor, one of them up against a wall, one of them far away. Allow me to demonstrate. And watch the exact center of that X. And everybody make me a spot hidden. Yeah.
I don't
Bull's
get it.
Yeah, your eyes are just a little bit old. Krikov, do you want to make a spot hidden? Aha! Yeah. She takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, throws the ball at the spot, hits that X right in the center. It bounces perfectly, makes an arc, and lands and stays on the center of that X. She goes, "Dead spot on the floor. 1 millimeter dead spot. Now, either I am a world-class talent, or there is something very, very wrong here."
Remind me her name. I forget.
Leia.
Adriana.
Or Adriana? Okay.
Yeah, or Dr. Ryder, because she does have a doctor.
Dr. Reiber, or may I call you Adriana?
She says, "Either is fine."
Motioning to, the machine along the wall, the calculator, as it were. What method does this machine use?
What even is that?
Oh, and she looks kind of anxious, and she's like, "This machine, it calculates numbers. It operates on a very large series of dashes and of electrical current, and it is a calculator. I punch in the numbers that I need, and it punches the numbers back out. You can
Duh.
test it with any common theorem.
That is yes. I
Here,
understand it.
I have question.
Yes.
Um, if we are talking about time here, yes. What year is it?
She smiles this weird, crazy smile and goes, I don't know.
What year do you remember?
I was in 1939. And now, for all I know, it could be the year 2002.
Let's hope not. 2002 was a shitty year.
Yeah,
Not
it
as
was.
bad as 2001, but
Not as bad as 2008.
Yeah.
or any of the fucking years after that. It feels like, but
Yeah.
he's looking. Okay, well, at least on that we are on the same page. We are in
Yeah.
September of 1939.
She says, September?
Yes.
Ah,
Ah, you see, December. December 4th?
yeah.
That was me. So clearly there's already a discrepancy.
Hey, December, huh?
Wait, so
Tell us what of the invasion?
Well, I did not keep up much with the war. We went into Poland and there were issues. But
And then we went into Finland and there were issues.
Shoes.
the last thing I remember is we were on the back foot on our particular situations.
The Polacks, the Germans were supposed to help us with them.
She's like, yeah, that happened.
I'm going to come back to here and now, yes?
Whenever here or now is.
yes,
So
that is the
this
question.
this thing calculates numbers, yes?
Yes.
What kind of equations can you do with it?
Well, pretty much any equation that you need, as long as you can simplify it down to numbers.
Well, allow me to be a little more academic than I might let on. It adds, yes?
Yes.
It subtracts, yes?
Yes.
What about exponents?
Yeah, of course.
How long does it take for it to make these calculations?
Depending on the length of the calculation, somewhere between 5 minutes to a couple hours.
Ah. And let say you didn't want a perfect answer, yes? Because it would take too long to get. How would you take that equation and make it a shorter time for the machine to process?
Well, you could potentially break some of the larger parts into more manageable numbers with the machine and then hand do the rest of it.
One thing I was taught in university is estimating, yes?
Yes, there
If you
is
didn't...
no... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There is no real estimating with this machine. This is an exact thing. It is... Think of it like a brain, but dumb, but smart. It knows how to work with numbers, but it doesn't understand when you say, but not the numbers.
Well, it will always tell us 1 + 1 is 2, yes?
Correct.
But perhaps instead of like pi, you do not put in all of the numbers for pi, yes?
No, that is what we use shorthand for.
Which creates an
Somewhat estimation.
physics is just numbers, yes?
Well, I would argue that physics is a lot more than just numbers, but for a layman, yes.
So then, would you not call? Grabs the knife again, tilts it at the slight angle, drop. Dunk. Would you not call physics estimating that?
She kind of leans back and you see the light bulb kind of go off, and she says, "What? You think that this is some sort of..." And she's like trying to like process like what you're thinking.
Does everybody else see what I'm thinking out of character?
Todd Howard used an estimation for his physics engine.
Todd Howard is like, look, I'm gonna put 2 data points here. If it's in between straight down to like 10 degrees off, it's just going to act like it went straight down. Anything more severe than that, we're gonna pretend it was a 90-degree angle.
Are they holding
That's
the
what
knife
I'm
while they
getting
talk
at
about
here.
this?
Huh?
Like, is the knife still around? Are they holding it while they're
I
talking
mean,
about
like,
this?
it's on the ground right now between Leia
Yeah.
Radko
Yeah.
and Anatoly.
He picks it up, and he's going to adjust it to, like, 20-degree angle, and then drop it.
It reacts about how you'd expect it. And she's like, no, it's on small variations.
Exactly.
And like she actually pulls a stand out of the corner that has a little gimbaling arm, and says, if you want to use this, you can adjust it by degrees, even
Yeah.
fractions of degrees. I find a good break point is at 2/3 of a degree.
Yeah, I was going to say find like that, and then narrow it down. The important thing is that we figure out what the variance is. But
Yeah.
the problem is, do variances in space and variances in time correlate, or are they on their own separate measurement scales? After all, the man who runs this place believes that it is still the, what was it, 16th century?
She kind of ignores you actually, Olzeg. She goes, yes. And looks at Anatoly and says, I have a thought that might throw a wrench in your estimation theory. What about time not working properly? Say, if it were a watch, it would tick on at the same speed over and over, right? And certainly large skips would have to do something to this estimation.
Nah, it's just he's just, quick saving. He's short resting.
Yeah, he's quick saving so he can murder the whole village and then load the old one.
Or more importantly, how long would you like to rest? 24 hours, please. Tick, tick. Can we agree that time is ultimately moving forward, not back, yes?
I'm not so certain of that. I think time is moving forward in a very measured sense, but we're having very large, erratic jumps backwards, unpredictably so. I would assume that time as a standard moves forward, but there is something that causes it to push backwards.
Something causes you to push backwards, yes, because you are here before us, but you got here 3 months after us.
Then we can say, you say this theory that time and space are inextricably linked. However, does that mean if physics goes down, time goes forward? It could be a whole lot more complex than that, yes?
Surely, I mean, we're talking purely theoretical. I mean, we're talking things that people are saying that the denser that air gets, the more, or the denser that a form of gravity gets, the slower that time may move.
Fuck you! Fuck you, Neil deGrasse Tyson! Yes.
Einstein.
But well, it's just that Neil, that's all he loves to, that's what he loves to talk about. That's his
Yeah.
thing.
Gravity
And it's like,
dilation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, he'd say, what about this? Rather than looking for the specific details, yes?
Hmm.
In all math, there is patterns. You see it in the flowers. You see it in the mist, the clouds. What if there is a pattern to the jumps?
The tough part is we never truly know when or where a jump is. I've seen entire areas of the town jump back where the rest of them didn't, but no one seemed to notice anything, even the ones who didn't jump back.
We are also
Then-
forgetting that our ability to perceive patterns are limited to our own perception.
Yeah.
This is true.
If the good pastor is telling the truth in this, I shall refrain from using the word, but so long as they are like a child, then their perception
You
of
hear a
pattern-
door knocking in the background.
slowly reaching for
Leia.
the revolver.
Leia, is like, I will get that. It seems that you are very busy, and like she looks like mentally kind of exhausted.
Anatoly would kind of motion for Avenant to follow
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
Time to grab the rifle.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
keeping
yeah.
like my back to the door, but I'm looking over my shoulder, reaching into my coat so that I'm like right there, pull the pistol if I need to.
yeah.
All that all that Anatoly's going to do is motion with the finger for Adriana to keep quiet. Going to go over to the whiteboard. Take the so is it a chalkboard or a whiteboard?
It's a whiteboard.
So there will be a marker then?
Yeah, we'll say that there's a marker. When were whiteboards invented?
I have no fucking clue, man.
Hold on. No, that was in the 50s. It's a chalkboard.
Okay, but go grab the chalk and say, "Do you know of?" And is going to write the word with sections missing out of the letters. Enough that you can clearly inference the word, but not enough so that the word is actually itself formed.
Type that out.
What's that?
You should type out which letters are missing.
Well, so as in with the M, maybe I
Mhm.
leave a section out of the M.
Oh, I
And with the
understand.
A, maybe I leave a bit out of the O shape of the A.
Okay. Yeah.
Or do all caps and do like an upside down V for the A.
Yeah. Something like that. I get you.
Yeah.
She looks kind of puzzled and is just
This is what it is. This is what supposedly the town calls it.
who goes to the front door? Is it just Avenad and Leia?
I'll probably go too.
Okay. You go to the front door and you see the guy in the balaclava with the rifle over his shoulder, and he's got like a package in his hands.
Oh.
And he says, another one I was told to deliver to Radcol as residence. And Leia's like, okay, and like takes the package. He nods his head, lights up a cigarette, and starts walking off. Leia brings the package into the lab.
Do you see? This is what they are calling it.
And Leia's like, I have this. What is malice? She's like, and like drops the box, and the thud onto the ground.
Yet.
Here, you physicists get back to your work. I will look at this.
Who is the box for?
Yeah, who is it written out to?
Yeah.
The box does not have a to label.
Does it have a from?
It does not have a from label.
Does it have any markings whatsoever?
Nope. It is
All
just
right, it's time to
a plain
fucking spot
brown
hidden on
paper
this shit.
package.
Yep, I'm gonna also spot hidden, cause
I too am going to spot
Holy
him.
shit!
I want that roll.
hey.
Olzeg. Ooh, Krikov. Okay, so Olzeg, you lift up the package and it's kind of heavy, and you notice that there's a slight speckling of a dark brownish red on one of the corners. Krikov, you kind of heft the package, and you know that there's nothing in there hard enough to make it a bomb.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a hand, isn't it?
Well, kids, we're
Well-
gonna find out.
A body part. Probably hand.
What better to do when you get a strange package from someone you don't know, kids, but to open it?
Hell
All right.
yeah, dude.
You cut through the paper and the string that holds it together, and inside is a cardboard box. The bottom of the cardboard box is damp. You open the top of the cardboard box, and
It's a body part.
well, yeah, duh. Anatoly, you look in and you see her. You see the old lady. Her head. And inside her mouth is a small piece of paper.
Yet, suka.
Do you take the paper out and read it?
Who is this?
This is the hag. Take out the piece of paper.
On the paper,
Open
there is
it.
one small, simple phrase written. Game over? Question mark.
Suka.
And we're gonna cut right there. All right, everybody.
I'm out.
Yeah, let's get our so you guys can do your improvement rolls in the background while we have you do your outros. Let's start with Kryakov.
Hey, kids, it's your Uncle Sport. You come here playing. What do you call it? The Russian man, that was kind of quiet today because it's hard to be Russian when you're eating Chinese. And that is my excuse. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm not lying. I say excuse, but it's all truth, I promise. The accent's not easy for me to do to begin with. But I'm doing my best, and that's all I can do. But it's fine. It's fine. If you want to catch me on another game, you can watch me play on Sundays where I play Grandma and Cousin Igor. All right, and I'll be honest with you, them two are fun. All right, because last Sunday, Grandma explored her inner Godzilla, and Igor chopped up Fluffy Snack before she had an aboleth for lunch, and I think that's just beautiful, right? Because it's good to be involved in your pets' lives. And I was gonna say something else, but then I realized that I'm not in any of the games. So, if you want to if you want to just watch us, because we got more stuff. I promise. That is all.
All right, and the GM has asked that I go next. Hi, my name is Cyrus Smith, and today I learned that if you ask fourth wall questions, you will get fourth wall answers. While he's not here, I would like to tell the audience I got a little mind fucked. I would be honest if I freak out for, I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say I didn't freak out there for almost 10 seconds, and I'm still not okay. Fuck, man. Now that we've patched the fourth wall up with duct tape and prayer that he doesn't do it again. Oh, hi, buddy.
Hello. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just telling people, ask fourth wall questions, get fourth wall answers. That fucked me up a little bit. You can also find me on Sunday, where I'm running Tales from the Cosmos, where we will not do that kind of fourth wall break because that mentally traumatizes people.
Are you scared? Are you scared of old lady? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm scared of being called out by the old lady. Like, not my character being called out, like me being called out.
Are you okay, Gunner?
You know what? I'm sending you to the doctors next. You get to talk with that fucker.
Hey, I haven't told anyone about that phobia. That's not fair.
No, it's okay. It'll be a coincidence.
Easy, brother.
You can also find me on well, let's see here. So, yeah, Sunday, where we won't be doing that to people, but we will be holding a child hostage. I mean, we will be having our children search for a child. Did I say children search for a child? It's okay. I'm tired. Monday, you can catch me playing Twinkle Bailey, the isekai who, after our retrospective, is ready to get back into the swing of things. And Tuesday, don't Seattle for anything less, where I'll be running Drifter, the little old lady that loves nothing more than to run people over, or shoot people, or hit people, or you know what? Let's move on. That brings us back to Thursday. Yeah, that's me.
All right, then it obviously has to go next to Yamez.
Hi ho, friendolos. My name is James, otherwise known as Night Hour. He caught me here today playing Olzek Malganovich, the old man KGB agent who's just over here like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and has yet to be fourth wall traumatized. But now there's a dead lady's head in a box. Yeah. Weird. You can also find me here on, I guess Sundays are the next thing, where it will be back to Tales from the Cosmos, where I play 3 different characters. Maybe 4 soon. I saw that, Mike. Fuck you.
Yeah, I know you did. I hoped you did.
You're mean. And after I entertained your during your birthday with girly screams as I ran away from a killer.
You did entertain me during my birthday with girly screams.
By the way, the best way to win Among Us is to get the killer stuck playing Ring Around the Rosies. Where I play a bunch of different characters, and we had a pretty fun fight. It was pretty fucking tense, considering none of us have any sort of flying capabilities. And flying creatures were about to abduct one of our favorite NPCs. Which is fucking brutal when you think about it, that more DMs don't take advantage of that.
I have a pet bunny. My pet bunny got swooped up by a hawk. Like...
Pretty much. and almost had us about to fight the dragon, which, by the way, the paladin would not give a fuck about fighting because they're technically evil.
She did just chew an aboleth into a toy in like one round, though.
Yeah, but I'm a player character, so dab. You can also find me here on Mondays if we are going. Are we taking a week off, or are we going right back into it?
I'm just assuming we're just going straight back into it.
Well, then for season 5, where I'll be playing Sterile Silverchild, might as well be called S because he's pretty much L, the master of the diplomatic titties.
Yeah.
My apologies, I was not there for the retrospective. I took a nap at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Woke up, said 2:30 on my clock, and I was like, nice. I went looked at my phone. It was 2:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Not nice. Still not recovered from that. And yeah, that's that. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Just in those 3 games.
Right. Excellent. And that leads it back to me. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike, also known as Win 5 Get 1 Free. You've got me today running Projekt Severovo, everybody's favorite eldritch horror turned nihilist novel turned... What? You can catch me also on Mondays where I play Matthias Merch-Dieschborg, the lovable turnip radish man who fucks shit up pretty hard, actually. He's a pretty bad man. You can also catch me on various Justice Grab Bags and or Black Box Theaters. You'll catch me in some games coming up. I'm really not in a lot of stuff right now, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of what we got. But that is it for me. And I think that is it for tonight. So let's everybody get an RIP fourth wall and let's get out of here.
R.I.P. Fourth